The purpose of Business Debtors Anonymous is to focus on DA issues as they relate to owning a business and to support the vision of being self-employed. In order to keep the focus on our program, we ask that you not read from or mention outside literature in your share. Our speaker, Deborah, has come to share her experience, strength, and hope with us in the specific area of the BDA toolkit and the 12 steps of DA. Welcome, Deborah.
And thank you for asking me today. And let's see, that's right. And good morning, everyone. I am Deborah O, and I am a compulsive debtor. And I say compulsive because my debting has been just that, compulsive. It's been a rock bottom kind of debting. It's been a disease of my mind where I just had to have it now, just deal with it and get out of the way and just spend it and then spend everything and be left with nothing. I see today that I believe my debting was just my inner trauma and chaos just manifested with money, with being in the world and not knowing what the hell to do or how to be. And what this program is to me is it's a spiritual answer. It gives me the connection to something that is bigger than all of it and stops that addiction to chaos and being a fuck up and feeling bad about myself. And it gives me a way to be in the world so I can be of ultimate service and actually have joy and love and come from that place. This program is amazing. Welcome to all the newcomers. I got to talk to a couple newcomers. Congrats getting here early and meeting people and getting phone numbers and whoever told you about the meeting and you came, and that shows willingness. And congratulations to all of you for getting out of bed this morning and coming and showing up for your recovery and for your meeting and for being here with me. I returned to this meeting and it's been my home group. I've had the privilege of being your intergroup rep this last year. And so just to give a little bit of what I was like and what got me here, I learned of Debtors Anonymous from a self-help book, which I won't say what it is. But it was that was in, I think, maybe 1998. I was in Florida for graduate school. I was on full scholarship, but I also took out the full amount of loans that were allotted to me when I had other classmates who were concerned about paying, what they borrowed and what they were paying back. And I just, it was just on. It's just this going. And I saw this book, and they had a term called money drunk, being drunk with money. And at the end, it referenced Debtors Anonymous, and that the World Service was in Newton, Massachusetts. I'm from Massachusetts, and I was already involved with the 12 steps, seeking help for my eating disorder and for my alcoholism, and for being an adult child of an alcoholics. And so I had a deep sense and innate faith of the 12 steps, so that there was a 12-step program and a name for this thing, this just debting, this ism, this thing. I didn't get to a meeting until I had moved to New York. I think I was sent away to start a meeting, like to get a package so I could start a meeting in my area, because there weren't any meetings. And then I got to New York in September of 1999, and I found a Debtors Anonymous meeting. And I remember sitting in coffee shops having PRGs with people. And for those that are new, a PRG is a pressure relief group. It's a group you sit with two people and you channel something bigger. we use the word God here. And this is the other thing. My recovery that I believe today is I've really understood that language cannot contain that feeling, that sense of intuition, that inner guidance. So the word God, the word higher power, the word nothing, all of the above, it is an individual experience. And that is why, to me, why I believe and I know and I've witnessed why the 12 steps work. It's your individual experience. It's my individual experience. So when I talk about higher power, God, the divine, it's really just my intuition has always been there. And in addiction, I just didn't know. I didn't feel it. I was cut off from it. But something bigger got me to these meetings. I had a spiritual experience in those coffee shops, having PRGs and going to those meetings, and all I did was sob. I cried a lot, and I intuitively know what you meant, that the deading is a symptom of a deeper problem, because that was weird, like to be just sobbing so dramatically over my money. But it was really like I just didn't know how to deal with life. And so many people along the way have just loved me through it. And eventually I came out to Los Angeles because my boyfriend at the time, who by the grace of this program especially is my husband, he was here in Los Angeles, I was in New York, it was going to be one or the other. I, on a whim, came here. And I walked in, and then I really hit a bottom with my eating disorder. I got more help with that, and then came here to the Saturday morning meeting, which was on Plymouth and Wilshire. And walking in here, man, it was like just such a big meeting. I was so scared and intimidated and happy all at the same time, and just, again, having PRGs and being guided, and then it just took my life in a direction where I became grateful for my restaurant job. And working the steps with a sponsor and having PRGs and going to meetings and getting service commitments. And where I was, I also was dealing with depression and anxiety and all kinds of just recovering along the way, in other 12-step programs, and coming here, and this program just loved me, just all of it. And then you start to give PRGs and go to meetings and do it all. And that the idea of going to any length to earn, to be self-supporting by my own contributions has revolutionized my life. And that is what we are about here. So no longer could I borrow. So I just need to tell you all, I cannot borrow because I will not pay it back. So if I come to you and say, hey, you got a 20, I need some cash, don't give it to me. Not going to give it back, because later on, I'm going to need it to pay a bill, or there's going to be something else, and I just don't know how. I can't keep paying the debts because I got to move forward and pay the bills. It's just this endless cycle. So you taught me that here. Go to any lengths, don't incur another debt. And that gave me hope, somewhere to start with. At least if I don't keep racking up the debt, there's a start. You've taught me about numbers. We write down our numbers, everything we spend, everything we take in. Giving PRGs to people, who, I'm an independent contractor, I don't know what's coming in or what's coming out. Well, you need to know what you need to live on. So we start to see, what do I need to live? And we have a numbers book, and it's categories, and it's actually categories in order of priority. So guess what? It's number 1, spiritual. What? But I have to pay debt. My creditors are calling. They're mean on the phone. I've been berated on the phone. I've screamed at creditors back. Believe me, it's just like my childhood. Just keep going, and I just play it out with with creditors. And you've taught me how to handle that, how to write letters and knock it on the phone. And, there's just so much wealth here that I'm just giving you, little snippets of. Going any lengths to be self-supporting by my own contributions. So that meant I couldn't borrow from anyone anymore. First of all, I couldn't get a bank account. So the fact that I have bank accounts today, that I have savings accounts today, it's a miracle. Like that I'm a functioning member of society today and trustworthy. It's a miracle of BDA. But, I couldn't get a bank account because I had bounced so many checks. They wouldn't give me another credit card because I would just max everything out. I mean, it was just to the end, just all of it. So I couldn't borrow from my mom anymore either. And I had to start getting self-supporting. So I became really grateful for those numbers and the money and the cash I was making as a server at a great restaurant job. Where I was crying to my sponsor, like, what do I do with my life? I'm so depressed. I'm out here for other things, and I went to school for it, and she said, you become a worker amongst workers. And there's no shame in so when we use the word earn, it's that I've put in the time so I get that back, and it's an exchange. So recovery today, so to get into what it's like today, how that, has brought me to here. The idea that because I love all the symbols around money, that it's currency, that it's flow, that it's a give and receive. That stuff speaks to me. It gives me hope. It gives me an understanding of, even when people would say, not to minimize anything that anyone's gone through, but it's the economy. And I remember thinking my economy, it doesn't matter, economy, my economy is in the toilet. I don't know, what's happening out there, economy to me is in here, is in my program. So the idea that it's a currency, that it's a give and take, it's an exchange, it's that I'm not just taking for nothing. All of that you've taught me here. That yellow book, phenomenal, because all those questions are about money. And if you're in that yellow book right now, I would suggest just keep going. Answer those questions and read them to someone and hear their experience, strength, and hope. And that to me is just the deep work around issues around money. And right now, I just had a PRG recently, and there's more work for me to do. I was directed, I need to do a 10-step every day when I leave work. I need to bookend leaving work. Program today. So many of you know I had an accident about a year ago. I flipped a car. I went off of in a parking garage at my work. In the parking garage, I went off of the floor, crashed my front end, and the car flipped. That was May 27th last year, 2015. I'm so grateful to be alive. And this year has been a year of, now I'm beginning to accept some limits that I have. I'm getting the correct diagnosis of what's going on with the neck and pain that I have, and headaches, and that this last year I had to say no to a lot of things. I've had to really ask for help. I've had to seek outside help. How does that all with my DA program? That stuff would freak me out. How am I gonna pay for that? How is it? I had to get an attorney. And I was so scared. But you've taught me here about business of life, and the business that I strive to have and own, and which, again, so with that, I've had to get a lot of help. I've had to tell people I'm not okay. I'm slurring words, and I get bad headaches, and I just need to go lay down. And then people in here are so kind, tell me, here, I have someone who, a great body worker. Other people have shared with me their experiences and who they've seen. I have insurance today. I've been to the doctor so many times, and I love Kaiser. That's a miracle of recovery. This year also is, so I've had panic attacks or two. So the thing is that I also, things that really unleashed were after the visions retreat. That's where things really just started to open up after the vision retreat. And my therapist said, it kind of makes sense. You went on retreat and it opened up. And I just am saying to this group, right now, getting quiet, and I need a lot of help. And I like to be tough and strong and muscle through, and there's times for that, and that's what got me here. But right now, it's okay. It's like the biggest gift from my higher power is to slow down. That's all I wanted this last year, too. It felt like, you know... the other thing I'd like to say before time is up is I'm still earning a paycheck at that job. I show up and do the best I can. And I know that I am respected and loved there. The outpouring of love that all that knew, and witnessed, my accident. It's kind of profound to me that it happened at work. I don't know what it is, but I'll finish with the other things that I'm seeking outside of that job have been, little steps along the way with very close friends that I'm working that have, starting the base of a new company. So there's so many things on the horizon. There's so many good actions that are on my PRG list. I'm humbled by this disease of my mind, of thinking. It's a disease of lack. But I keep coming back because I feed the idea of abundance. That to me is higher power. That's my program. To see abundance in everything. Like, look at this huge room. This is abundance. You're all here. I'm not alone. You all have an experience, strength, and hope to share. And I have that too. So I'll end with, this program's amazing. And, take what you like, leave the rest. If I said something today that helped you, I hope it did. And if it didn't, keep coming back. You'll hear a speaker that you relate to. Speakers are on the website. They're everywhere. But I'm grateful that you're here, and that's all I got. Thank you.